All right, just a lot of ground to cover tonight. We will get it all in, and we begin in Florida, where the recount is moving forward, and barring any kind of disaster, Ron DeSantis and Rick Scott will rightfully be Florida's next governor and senator. Now, with that said, what we have seen out of liberal Broward and Palm Beach counties has been an absolute national disgrace. Over in Broward County, election supervisor Brenda Snipes magically just located over 75,000 new ballots days and days after the election. Now, earlier this week, a box containing provisional ballots was actually found by an employee at a rental car company left behind at an airport in Fort Lauderdale. Multiple state election laws, we now know they were broken, disregarded altogether. A court has ruled that Snipes acted inappropriately, and now the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, and the Florida Department of Law Enforcement are investigating claims of criminal voter fraud. Now, we have embattled election supervisor Brenda Snipes. She might be out of a job soon. Take a look.
But it is time to move on, to let someone else, maybe be one of you guys out there who're steeped in election business. But I think I have served the purpose that I came here for, which was to provide a credible election product for our voters.
And tonight, losing her high-paying job may be the least of Snipes' worries. The Florida Attorney General, Pam Bondi, and Florida Senator Marco Rubio, they will be with us tonight. But first, Jim Accosta, desperately trying to get back into the White House, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Last week, his White House pass was revoked after what was clearly unprofessional conduct, an incident where he just refused to give up a shared microphone. Shared, key word. Made contact with a White House intern who tried to take the microphone back, and literally he wanted to debate the President of the United States after accusing him, well, pretty much of being a racist. Well, that's sort of like par for the course at fake news CNN. Take a look.
If I may ask one other question, Mr. President, if I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, I was going to ask one of the other folks.
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr. President,
that's enough.
Mr. President, I had one other question.
That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Mr. President.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN.
Now, while Accosta's pass was revoked for his unprofessional conduct, no one else at CNN, by the way, is affected. Nobody. And by the way, the president answered his question. How many times does the president of the United States need to tell someone, a fame-seeking reporter, that's enough? That's enough. Now, CNN still has access to the White House. Accosta is still free to spew his anti-Trump hatred anywhere he wants, just not inside the walls of the White House, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. But now Accosta and CNN are suing President Trump and other officials in the administration. Now, the lawsuit laughably claims that Accosta's constitutional rights have been violated. The complaint also goes on to list the following lies as facts. They state that Accosta merely asked a question during the press conference. Well, you just saw it. That's a lie. He tried to grandstand, he gave his commentary, and he wanted to debate the president. Next, the suit suggests that Accosta didn't put his hand on the White House intern. Well, as you can see right there on your screen, well, the intern tried to get the mic back. There was contact. I'm not saying anything bad happened with that, but the complaint also claims Accosta has been a journalist. This is my favorite. For more than 2 decades and is widely respected for his diligence and independence. That's the biggest lie. Jim Accosta is a lot of things. He is not a fair, balanced, independent journalist. Now, he is a far left, grandstanding, sycophant, left-winger, capitalizing on his blatant anti-Trump bias. And his conduct inside the White House has been, frankly, a lot of times anything but professional. Take a look.
I'm not sure this press conference was ever on the rails. As you heard numerous times during this news conference, the president was just not in touch with reality. The people here who work at this White House all the way up to the president evidently believe that journalists are the enemy of the people, literally the enemy of the people. I'll say that the press is not the enemy of the people. And, I think, maybe we should make some bumper stickers, make some buttons.
Andrew?
The law could be different than border security, sir. Border security can
No,
mean
actually, I
drones,
don't,
it can
Jim.
mean agents, it could mean more fencing. It doesn't necessarily mean a physical
And that's part of the
wall
negotiation that we expect Congress to have.
But you understand Democrats are saying that they may not be in favor of this kind of deal. That they say thanks but no thanks for a wall.
Jim, I'm not negotiating with you. I'm going to let Congress take care of that.
What we're witnessing right now is just this erosion of our freedoms in terms of covering the President of the United States. I think that there are moments when this president is just really sensitive to criticism, and he lashes out. Last three news conferences, Wolf, all of the questions to the American news media have been handled by conservative press. And I think, Wolf, there's no other way to describe it, but the fix is in. The Statue of Liberty has always been
let me ask you a question.
of hope to the world for people to
Jim, do you believe
to this country, and they're not always going to speak English, Stephen.
Jim,
they're not
do you
always
believe
going to be highly skilled. They're not always going to be
Jim, I appreciate your speech.
I think we saw the president's true colors today, and I'm not sure they were red, white, and blue.
Not sure if they're red, white, and blue, true colors. That would be opinion. I thought he was supposed to be a journalist. Now, Jim Accosta's coverage of President Obama was actually a little different. Take, for example, this glowing coverage of Obama at his 2012 inauguration. Let's take a look.
Obviously, this is the moment that everybody is waiting for on Inauguration Day, when the President and the First Lady step out of their limo and walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. I feel like I should pinch myself right now, Wolf. I can't believe I have this vantage point of history in the making.
So you're literally, what, about 15, 20 feet away from the president?
I'm probably a good, I would say, 50 feet away from the president right now, Wolf. But very, very close.
Wow, it sounds like he had a thrill up his leg, like Chris Matthews. Anyway, Acosta's overwhelming bias, it's not shocking. In fact, he's pretty much towing the company line at fake news CNN. For 8 long years, they just worshipped Barack Obama. They loved the Clintons. Remember Clinton News Network? Now, CNN claims to be facts first, but in reality, they put their hatred for Donald Trump before anything else. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, pretty much. Take a look.
Is this president trying to impersonate Hugo Chavez, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Vladimir Putin?
What a great case officer Vladimir Putin is. He knows how to handle an asset, and that's what he's doing with the president.
When do we see almost a shadow government come out and say, we cannot side with the government?
Why is President Trump showing sympathy for white nationalists and other hate groups?
What does that tell you in an America that in one generation called you? What does that tell you, Don?
We can surely say his words have absolutely emboldened white supremacists.
He has given oxygen to racists. He is clearly trying to ignite a civil war in this country.
There's a sign out there that's been hung up in the White House or outside the White House saying, if you're not white, you're not especially welcome.
The president gets 2 scoops. Everyone else around the table gets 1, and no word if there were sprinkles.
If you think you've had an earful of Donald Trump, check out what's in the ear of a beagle in Britain named Chief. Brace yourself.
If he took a dump on his desk, you would defend it.
16 tweets today to start the new year, some of them deeply disturbing. These are the messages from a person who is not well, from a leader who is not fit for office.
He's President Snowflake. Okay? Everything he said, oh, they're mean to me and they don't like me and I just don't understand it and it's not fair.
This was a white lash. This was a white lash against a changing country. It was a white lash against a black president in part.
That's a lot of opinion by people that claim that they're journalists, left-wing opinion. Now, is anyone really surprised that the network that you just saw had their chief White House correspondent kicked out for unprofessional conduct? Now, the White House is classifying the Accosta suit as, quote, more grandstanding from CNN. Now, a law and crime website, it's a great website, op-ed, trashed the complaint, and renowned journalist Bob Woodward rebuked the lawsuit and called out the media becoming emotionally unhinged over Trump. The great one, Mark Levin, he just ripped and slammed the suit over the so-called constitutional issue, which is a farce. Take a listen.
You understand that there's nothing in the Constitution that compels the president to hold a presidential press conference, period. What's the court going to order him to hold one? There's nothing in the Constitution that compels the president to call on anyone from CNN, let alone Jim Accosta. Period. And Accosta does not have a constitutional right to disrupt the press conference, and CNN doesn't either.
And as per usual, CNN is all bark, no facts. We'll keep you updated on this ridiculous lawsuit. Now, you might have noticed that fake news